What's up, guys? It's Benny. Here's a county-by-county map of the 2024 election. You can see the red counties are Trump counties and the blue counties are Kamala Harris counties. And what you'll notice here is that there's no such thing as a blue state. Even hardcore blue states, like let's say New Mexico, are mostly red. It is truly astonishing. And when you break it down, a staggering 90% of the counties in America voted for President Trump. And what you'll see is that there are just simply states like Illinois that stack 20 electoral votes into the Democrat column every single year through gerrymandering and a number of other criminal activities. There's just a few blue counties in a massive red state of Illinois. Even states like California just have sort of a blue coastline, and the entire rest of the state is red. This is very important in states like Washington and Oregon, where there are just little blue counties here and there. If you zoom over to New York, you'll see the majority of counties in New York, the vast majority, are red, along with Pennsylvania, two very important states, Michigan as well, Wisconsin as well. This trend plays out very strongly across the nation. And so it leaves states like right here in Oregon to ask the question, like, why are we voting? Why are three counties deciding what the entire rest of the state votes for? And it's led to movements like this. Rural Oregon wants to create the Greater Idaho. Greater Idaho would look like this. Oregon would become like a little sliver state that looks kind of like Rhode Island, right? And this would become Idaho, with the red counties voting to secede from Oregon. And it's picking up steam and may actually happen. Wallowa County became the 12th Oregon county to join the Greater Idaho movement when special election results on the measure were finalized on Tuesday. The vote originally took place in May, preliminary results showing support for the effort leading by only 21 votes. After the votes were finalized in June, the lead shrunk, and the Greater Idaho movement moved forward with another county. With Wallowa County's vote, 12 out of 12 counties have held elections on Greater Idaho measure and have decided that they want to join instead Idaho. Look at this. They want to take the top part of California right here. They want to take Oregon, move Oregon's border, Greater Idaho. This is what they're planning on doing. And now that movement has moved to California. It's really wild. So there is now a move in California, and we'll have more on this in a moment, to split up the state. Again, this is what California looks like from an electoral perspective. And now a California Republican leader is calling for a two-state solution amid redistricting battle. Look at this. Sacramento, California, top Republican California assemblyman will propose splitting the state into two amid the state's feud over redistricting, calling for a proposal, a two-state solution. Assemblymember James Gallagher plans on Wednesday to brief reporters on legislation that would create a new state in response to Democrats' efforts to redraw congressional maps in California, a measure designed to counter Republican-led redistricting effort in Texas. The people of inland California have been overlooked for too long, he said in a statement. It's time for a two-state solution. Long-shot efforts to split California into two or more pieces, often proposed by conservatives in heavily Democrat state, have flared up a number of times in years, never successfully. Gallagher's proposed two-state solution is a phrase more commonly used in reference to the conflict in the Middle East, which would include Northern California, Sierra Nevada, Central Valley, Inland Empire, splitting coastal deep blue California apart in the GOP-heavy states. This is what it would look like. This would be the two-state solution. So you have here the county-by-county breakdown, and this would be the two states. They want to protect rural voters who have been silenced by Gavin Newsom's gerrymandering. The coastal elite liberals get their own state. People who live more inland get their own state. The people of inland California have been overlooked for too long. I 100% support this. This is something that has gone viral in my timeline. The Republican leader of the California Assembly has introduced this option. James Gallagher plans to unveil the proposal on Wednesday press conference, calling it a response to Gavin Newsom's plan to redraw the maps. California is already, by the way, gerrymandered within an inch of its life. The people of inland California have been overlooked. Well, this is what democracy looks like, right? Yeah, I think that's what they chant, right? California's a Republican leader will hold a press conference on Wednesday to announce a resolution calling for the creation of a new U.S. state made up of 35 inland California counties, division of California coastline, this two-state solution. Okay, let's look at it. This would be really interesting. California Republicans plan to split state. Under the proposal, coastal elites supporters say the split is about restoring fair representation, with the assembly leader declaring the people of inland California have been overlooked. Wild. Is it legal? Not sure. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to most likely get a constitutional amendment, right? And get the majority of the legislature to vote on it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the local news on this issue. They're taking it seriously in California.
The top Republican in the California Assembly, James Gallagher, has an alternate plan to Governor Gavin Newsom's California redistricting plan set to go before voters this November. Instead of carving up individual congressional districts, Gallagher is proposing to split the state in two, calling it a, quote, two-state solution. Gallagher's plan would cleave the state into two distinct parts, with the bluer coastal counties separated from the more GOP-heavy inland portions of the state. Gallagher is expected to outline his two-state plan at a news conference in Sacramento tomorrow.
And here's how it would play out in Idaho. This is local news reporting on the Idaho measure, which has gained a ton of traction and has actually had the county successfully vote to secede. The Idaho thing is like cooking. This is wild. Here's where they're going. Do you support this? Let me know in the comment section. Here's the reporting.
How great is Idaho? Well, pretty great. But one Oregon group thinks it can be greater, and they are getting closer to maybe making some more noise about it. We told you about this the past 12 months, about the quest to make greater Idaho, how several counties in eastern and southern Oregon want to be part of Idaho instead of Oregon, the rural, more conservative counties. They've been gathering signatures since last February to get initiatives on local ballots to move Oregon's border. That's what they're calling themselves now. The Move Oregon's Border organizers, they were able to collect enough signatures to get voters to say yay or nay to the idea in 4 counties last November. 2 agreed, Union and Jefferson. 2 did not, Douglas and Wallowa, getting it. But they are not deterred. They just announced they got enough signatures to put the proposal on 5 more county ballots for the May election. That'd be Baker, Grant, Lake, Malheur, and Sherman counties. They're going to decide this spring if they want to move forward on moving Oregon's border. Mike McCarter is the president of this grassroots group, and he told us today, while this idea that some think is pretty far out there, it's actually a sentiment that's been boiling under the surface for a while. How the more secluded part of the state has felt even less a part of the decision-making process for a while.
It is not a vote to secede from Oregon, because a county cannot do that. It's a measure that says, county commissioners, your citizens of your county want to see you work towards this process.
This process, it's a long and involved one. I mean, it's not just we want to do our own thing, and so therefore we're going to do it.
Right. And, it could be squashed at any minute, because in order for this to accomplish, the next step is for the Oregon legislature to pick it up. If they agree that they would like to look into it, then they've got to contact the Idaho legislature and start putting together something or seeing if something will not work. If they get a contract or a compact put together, then it goes to the U.S. Congress for approval.
You're pretty aware how slim your chances are, right?
Oh, sure. But what's your option? To sit and continue with what we're dealing with for the last 15 or 20 years with the Oregon legislature? It doesn't mean that we're going to give up on trying to get a balanced legislature there. But stop and think. More than 75% of the population and the legislators are in the Willamette Valley. So they're passing their drug laws, or should I say lack of laws and justice going on there. They're passing their tax and spend issues. They're homeless, they're illegals, they're Antifa and all of that stuff. Where are we sitting?